Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'll call to open the meeting of the Committee of Adjustment at 9 o'clock. And we'll go to the land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that we are gathered on the unceded traditional territory of the Algonquin and Nishnabeg people, specifically the people of the Madawaska River. We further acknowledge that the Algonquin people have been stewards of this land since time immemorial, and we strive to treat the land along with the flora, fauna, it supports the people, their customs and traditions with honor and respect. Today, this area is home to people of all walks of life, and we acknowledge the shared opportunities and responsibilities to live, work, and survive within this beautiful territory, to which all my relations. Is there any additions or amendments to the agenda? Seeing that there is none, can I have an adoption of the agenda then?
I'll move that the agenda be adopted.
Great, and second?
I'll second.
Carried. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interests?
I think we have to vote on that motion first.
Oh, sorry. Great, thank you. All in favor of the adoption? Carried. Any disclosure of the pecuniary interest? Seeing there is none, there has been the minutes of September 21st, 2022 attached to our agenda, and we do need to have them approved as submitted.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Great. All in favor? Yeah. This hearing of the Committee of Adjustment is one consent application under Section 53 of the Planning Act and one minor variance under Section 45 of the Planning Act. I'll now turn the meeting over to Tracy Cannon, Building and Planning Administrator, to describe each application.
Good morning, everyone. So we have online Debbie Avery. I'd like to welcome Debbie. She's the representative for this application. So this portion of the Committee of Adjustment meeting is to consider consent application under Section 53 of the Planning Act for lands described as Erie Concession 5, Part Lot 7. Parcel 19108 and locally known as 40 Kenny Road. The consent application, as laid out on the map in front of us, proposes a lot addition to sever a portion of the existing property of 40 Kenny Road and add these lands to the property known as 19 Avery Lane. According to our records here at the township, the lot area of the existing property at 40 Kenny Road is approximately 2.3 hectares or 5.65 acres. And the property at 19 Avery Lane is approximately 1.02 hectares, 2.53 acres. The area of land proposed to be added to 19 Avery Lane, according to the applicant submission, is approximately 0.45 hectares, 1.11 acres. With this addition, the new lot of 19 Avery Lane would have approximately 1.47 hectares, 3.63 acres, and while the area at 40 Kenny Road would be approximately 1.82 hectares, 4.5 acres. And of course, a survey would determine the exact area of what would be added to 19 Avery Lane. There is a currently existing on the lands is a fuel tank, a storage shed, and on the retained land is a dwelling, mobile home, an ice house, and a shed. And 19 Avery Lane currently has a dwelling, garage, and a shed. The requirement to hold this meeting is that there must be 14 days notice as prescribed by the Planning Act, and notice signs were posted on the property on January 16th. and mailed to property owners within 60 meters on January 30th. No additional comments were received by the public or of the planner. Any of the planner comments are included in the report. I just want to go to the committee. Does anybody have any questions or concerns that they'd like to ask Debbie or myself about the application?
I think it's pretty straightforward from my looking glance of it. I really don't see that there's any problem with this.
Okay. Debbie, would you like to add anything to this comment?
I don't think so.
Okay, great. Thank you. So I'm going to carry on to the next stage would be, I would now call upon a motion for the decision of consent application 2022-07. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Move.
I'll second
Carolyn. So the committee approved the recommendations outlined in the planner's report prepared by Anthony Homick, senior planner of JP2G consultant, and that the consent application number 2022-07 be subject to the following conditions. Excuse me, that the applicant provide the township with the original executed transfer deed, a duplicate original in one copy, a copy of the reference plan to be deposited at the land registry office that is substantially in compliance with the application sketch, and a schedule describing the severed lot and naming the grantor and the grantee attached to the transfer for approval purposes. Payment of all municipal and planning and legal and planning fees associated with the processing of the application, and if applicable, that the applicant meet all the financial requirements of the township, including payment of the balance of any outstanding taxes, including penalties and interest. Do I have comments on the conditions? No. No comment, Debbie, on the conditions?
No,
Okay, now call upon a vote of the motion. Mayor LaValle,
For,
Councillor Collins,
4,
Councillor Florent,
Or,
Councillor Kuyak,
For,
Councillor Pija,
4,
Councillor Rodnick,
4,
Councillor Sidoc,
4.
and it's accepted with conditions. Okay.
I know it has been accepted and everything's fine. What I can't understand is why there is not an entrance and it's not Paradise Road. Why would you not use a township maintained road as your frontage?
What do you mean? But what do you mean by the frontage? Because they have frontage on both. They have frontage on Avery Lane, or they've always accessed off of Paradise Road where it's pink. But they have adequate frontage on Paradise Road, and they retain as adequate frontage on Kenny Road. It's a lot addition. So we're not creating any new lands. So the frontage doesn't really have much to do with this in this case, because it's just adding existing lands to another set of lands that already has adequate frontage.
Okay,
That makes sense.
yeah, it does. It's just an addition to a private lane, whereas
Yeah,
we've got a township road there.
they do. Yeah, they've just always accessed off of Avery Lane, and that's not changing. But of course, they've got adequate frontage on that township maintained road if it had to be looked at, but
Yeah,
that's not
it
something we
doesn't.
need.
I know, that's
Yeah.
why I left the comment till after we'd gone through.
Okay, well, thank you, Debbie, for joining the meeting, and I will be in touch with you with next steps.
okay, thank you.
Have a good day. All right, I'm just going to shuffle to the next one. I'm just going to bring up the site plan for this for now, instead of going through the whole thing like I normally would, but. Okay, I believe I have Mr. Malcolm, the owner, online. I don't know if Mrs. Malcolm is with you as well. Yes,
Morning.
welcome.
Woke up from a night shift. We're all good. A little tired.
Well, thank you for joining us. And Neil and Linda Malcolm are the owners of 123B Woodland Lane, and they're joining us today. So this portion of the Committee of Adjustment meeting is to consider an application for a minor variance under Section 45 of the Planning Act for lands known as Plan M382, Lot 23, including part of the shore road allowance described as 36R 12466 Part 4 on that R plan in the geographic township of Lisle, locally known as 123B Woodland Lane. So the subject property has frontage on Lisle Lake, also known as Cross Lake. I'll refer to this lake as Lisle Lake is what we normally go by. The property is zoned shoreline residential in the comprehensive zoning bylaw. And the application proposes to construct a two-story detached garage with habitable space on the second floor. The property is currently improved with an existing dwelling, a storage shed, and the proposed detached garage would be located between the existing dwelling and Woodland Lane at a distance of approximately 34 meters from the shoreline of Lisle Lake. Section 4.1.10 of the zoning bylaw states that the use of an accessory building or structure for habitable room is not permitted except in the case of a guest cabin or a 1.5 story detached garage. And this is where the variance would apply, as they're proposing a second or a full two-story. So occupancy of any accessory structure shall not be permitted until occupancy permit has been issued by the township, and that's when Mike would come in to do that at that point. So 4.1.11 of the zoning bylaw also states that 1.5 guest cabin only one guest cabin or 1.5 story detached garage shall be permitted per lot. So again, another variance is required to that section to require a 2-story detached garage. Lisle Lake is identified in the official plan as a lake trout lake, but not at capacity. So as a Committee of Adjustments, you have the powers under Section 45(1) of the Planning Act to grant minor variances, provided that 4 tests are met. In the planner's report outline the 4 tests and their recommendations as how they see the 4 tests this application meets those 4 tests. So one of the questions is the application in keeping with the general intent and purpose of the official plan? The application seeks to construct a new detached garage on the subject lot. While official plan does not speak to garage as accessory structures, it does contemplate standalone guest cabins. The habitable space that is proposed on the second floor of the garage is consistent with the guest cabin use and is in keeping with the general intent purpose of the official plan. The second question the committee has to consider is the application in keeping with the general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw. And per the planner's recommendation, the design of the roof line and second floor of the proposed garage is such that it cannot be considered 1.5 stories. However, the proposed 2-story garage complies with all the zoning bylaw standards, including the overall maximum height of 4.5 meters. And is therefore in keeping with the general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw. Third question is the application minor in nature? The policy framework for the Township of South Algonquin provides for accessory structures that includes habitable space on an upper level, which is what is being proposed by this application. The permission to configure the second floor such that the detached garage would not be considered a 1.5 story is minor in nature. Last question is the application desirable for the appropriate development or use of the land, building, or structure? The proposed garage would not would be located a considerable distance from the shoreline, over 34 meters. It would be generously set back from the neighboring property, a minimum of over 12 meters. No adverse impact as anticipated on any neighboring properties, nor on the quality of the lake. The application is therefore considered desirable for the appropriate development of the lands. Does any members of the committee have any comments or questions regarding those 4 tests? Joe? Sorry, Councillor Thorne.
First off, it's not a minor variance, it's a minor variances. Because there's more than
There's more
one.
than one, yeah.
The question for our building inspector, it appears that there's no washroom facilities or septic system involved with this building. Is the current septic system adequate for 2 more bedrooms?
If they're not using, I guess you're adding sleeping quarters, which could be using the existing septic.
Yeah.
So I get where you're going with that. So I'm not sure on the sizing of the existing septic. We would have to have a look at that and see if it is designed large enough to accept the additional daily sanitary sewage flow. So that's something that perhaps should be looked into.
I am correct that there's no washroom facilities in this new structure, is that right? So there's no new septic system. So that on the plan, it doesn't show any septic system on the property at all.
There's no, you have to raise your hand. Sorry, I didn't know how to do that.
Go ahead, it's okay.
Can we chime in? Yeah. Yeah, there's no plan for any new washroom facilities in the new garage. It's only for some extra sleeping space above the garage space on the first story. There is a septic on site for the existing cottage, the existing dwelling you can see on the site plan. The septic was installed new around 2005 or 2006 by the previous owner. So I don't know the exact size. We're a family of 5. So we have 3 teenagers, and the living space in the existing dwelling isn't adequate for sleeping with 2 small bedrooms. So it's not, we're adding more people really to the property. We're just want to make better use of the space and have more space for sleeping accommodation. So there's no plan to have water or washroom to the new garage.
We just want to separate the 2 boys and the girl, because right now they're bunk bedding, 2 bunk beds on a double and a single up top. So
If that helps.
they just need to be in their own little space.
You're gonna keep your eye on them when they're that far from the house.
Well,
They could, yeah,
they're
they could
pretty
make
good
noise
kids.
up the hill. Yeah.
I certainly understand the current situation, but
Yeah.
situations tend to change, like
Understood.
properties change hands, and I'm thinking of down in the future, what that would be used for, and it could be quite different than what your intentions are. The other problem I have with this one is, because it's on a seasonal road, normally I don't like to vote on properties that I can't go and have a look at, and I can't go and have a look at this one until spring.
In addition to this, question for you, Mike, here, to overcome if the septic deemed not big enough, just to put an outhouse, just to dig an outhouse close to the garage would satisfy the needs of this sleeping situation, surely.
That's a tough question, or call as well. There's no additional fixture units associated with the garage. So there'll be no water supply and there'll be no additional discharge from that building. Adding an additional sleeping quarter, like Joe mentioned, does create additional theoretical, as per the building code, daily sanitary sewage flow, because each sleeping quarter is associated with capacity of 2 people using that daily. So it'd be an additional 4 people essentially if there were 2 sleeping quarters. I'm not sure that the addition, again, we would have to look at the sizing, and maybe we should pull the septic system that was installed in 2005 and have a look. If it was designed for a 2-bedroom cottage, it's probably over-designed because the minimum design of an on-site sewage system typically is for 3-bedroom and to accept the daily sanitary sewage flow of 3,200 liters a day. And again, it's a seasonal residence. They don't use it in the winter. The sizing is probably okay and would probably be sufficient. But again, we should probably have a look at it. But if it was installed in 2005, if the minimum sizing then was based on an 800-gallon tank, that's the smallest you could put in. And the smallest bed, I think, is 22 meters squared. So again, that size, the minimum sizing of the building code and part 8 specifically is for a 3-bedroom. So they're adding an additional 2 if you went by the criteria as set out in part 8.
I would be prepared to vote in favor of the variance conditional on further looking into the septic system, and if it's adequate, fine. If it's not, then something would have to be done.
Yeah, and again, like if the septic proves that it's not capable of supporting the additional 2 sleeping cabins, you could always upgrade the system.
Yeah.
I don't see the septic location on the site plan. On the one that's in front of us.
The
You said-
septic tank is located on the drawing on your screen. It's just to the left of the existing building in front of the existing storage. And then the bed runs downhill towards the shoreline. So it's
Okay, so
between,
it's not labeled.
yeah, it's not labeled on the drawing, no. And we do have from the previous owner, we do have the invoice from the installation of the septic tank. So I don't have it in front of me, but we would be able to confirm the size of the existing tank and provide it to Tracy and Mike, if that's appropriate.
We just got it cleaned out. Tracy, we just got it, the gentleman came to do, like he cleaned it out. And he was mesmerized by the lack of poop we supported, is what he said. He didn't say poop, but
I'm
Anyway,
pretty
it's
sure
in good shape.
it's in great shape. He was quite happy.
That's good to know.
I'm pretty sure that a copy of that septic installation permit would be here in this office.
No
Oh,
doubt,
great, that's
no doubt,
good,
yeah.
perfect.
We have a copy from the previous owner, but that we could provide.
Mhm.
Okay, conditional on that being okay, I'm okay with the variance.
Okay. Did you have a?
Just a question, and I know, I think I know your answer. I just want to assure myself, and I appreciate what you're trying to do here and the comments that have been placed by council members today. I just want to make sure that we're not moving to an Airbnb here.
No, absolutely not. It's not our plan in any way. It's our, well, we'll call it, we bought the cottage 12 years ago. When we retire, we live in Waterloo, and when we retire, we fully intend to spend most of the year here. The garage and the extra sleeping space for our kids is really what we're looking for, and that's the long-term plan.
We don't even rent our cottage.
No,
No
never
one's
rent
ever
it.
stayed over. I'm a paramedic. I take the summer off. I hang out with the 3 kids to get away from work and clear my mind. We don't allow anyone to come to the cottage unless we're there. And even then, we're pretty quiet people.
Wouldn't happen to be looking for a job, do you?
That's funny.
Never know.
It's
Okay.
funny, I'm
Same
27 years in. I just got asked to be a DC. I'm a training officer. I'm on the road. After last night, man, I want to retire. But getting ready for it.
Any further questions or comments? No, we're good. Okay. So the requirement to hold this, the hearing is that there must be 10 days notice prescribed by section 45(5) of the Planning Act. The notices were mailed to property owners within 60 meters of the subject property on January 31st, 2023. And notice signs were posted on the Lyle Lake Landing Road as a property is not accessible in the winter months. And that was done on January 30th, 2023. Comments from the planner are outlined in their planning report. We did receive a written comments from the owners of 141A Woodland Lane. They were not disputing the project. However, they wanted to ensure that the dimensions for the side yard setback was from the actual property line and not the hydro line. After further research and communication with the property owners and their architect, so technologists, there was a discrepancy between the site plan submitted and the R plan 36R 12466. So the site plan has been revised, and this is the new site plan that's now in front of us, and with the new adjustments. With this, the adjustment for the proposed structure is still over 12 meters from the property line, where the minimum side yard setback is 5 meters. So there's still adequate room there. The owners at 141A Woodland Lane have been provided a copy of the site plan, the new site plan, and the R plan that we used to demonstrate these, or that was used to demonstrate these new lines. And no further comments were received after that. So the planner also wanted to point out that in his report, he had said that he wanted to say what the revised lot lines would be. So it would be distance from 34 meters from the shoreline of Lyle Lake instead of 41, what he had put in. It would be set back now over 12 meters instead of 13 meters. And he also recommends that a condition be put into the notice of decision, or into the decision, that we include that the approved development be constructed substantially in accordance with the plan prepared by Colin Darling Architectural Design dated December 19, 2022, but then include with the exception of the site plan sketch that is dated February 12, 2023. That will be attached to it. So that's just their recommendations on that. Does any further discussion on this? No, we're good. Any further discussion,
Nope.
Neil or Linda? No, you're good.
Not for me.
Okay.
It all depends on the septic. And if the neighbors don't have a problem with it, I don't have a problem with it either.
Okay, so now that's where I'm going to now, is for the recommendation and conditions of the minor variance. So it is recommended that Committee of Adjustment approve the minor variance application MV 2023 subject to the following conditions. Can I have, what was, you wanted to add one, and then we discuss that now?
Providing the size of the septic is adequate.
Verification of the size of the septic.
Or the addition of an outhouse if it isn't. Can we put that in so we can agree it today?
No.
No.
We don't want to sacrifice customers and saying that it's okay to have an outlet.
And so include applicants provide verification of the septic size, location.
Yeah. Yep.
Does that sound okay to you?
And that it's adequate,
Then it's adequate for the additional.
and that it's adequate,
And that it
an adequate septic system. We decided.
meets the Ontario Building Code.
Based on the.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Someone had mentioned about putting in an outdoor potty. Is that an option?
I think the consensus around this table is that we don't want to set a precedence by saying, yes, it's okay to have an outhouse.
Earth pit privy.
Earth pit, privy.
What's sorry? I didn't hear what he said.
No.
Oh, he said no. No. I just won't let them poop.
Any
Talk to Mike.
any further comments or questions? No. Okay. Okay, so can I now call upon a motion? And then can I get a mover and a seconder?
I'll move.
I'll second it.
And Okay, in making the decision upon the application, the committee has considered whether or not the variance request was minor and desirable for the appropriate development, and that the general intent and the purpose of the zoning bylaw and the official plan will be maintained. Therefore, the Committee of Adjustment approved the request for minor variance for application number MV 2023-01, subject to the following conditions: that the approved development be constructed substantially in accordance with the plans prepared by Colin Darling Architectural Design dated December 19, 2022, with the exception of the site plan sketch that is dated February 12, 2023, attached here to as Appendix 1. So it's in front of us. Payment of all municipal legal and planning fees associated with the processing of the application, and that the applicant provide verification of the septic size and location, and that it meet the Ontario Building Code standards. Okay. Any discussion? Okay, call on a vote. Mayor LaValle. 4. Councillor Collins.
4.
Councillor Florent.
4.
Councillor Kuyak.
4.
Councillor Pijot.
4.
Councillor Rodnick.
Bill.
Pardon? Okay.
4.
Okay, Councillor Sidoc.
4.
Accepted with conditions. Okay, thank you. All right, I will be in touch with you and we'll discuss next steps.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Neil, Linda.
Have a good day.
Sleep well.
Bye, guys.
Sleep well, Linda. Sleep well.
I'm off to bed.
Thanks. Okay, so I'm going to just share now to the next.
I think I've actually done work on their driveway.
Yeah, I think it's just above, really nice gentleman. I can't think of his name right now.
This one's, the house is down the road in the driveway, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so there was a planning report in your package for this one. So I understand that some of you may not be familiar with this application as you were here at the time that the decision was made, but I'll give you a brief history of what happened there. The Committee of Adjustment approved the consent application C 2022-06 for a lot addition on September 21st, 2022. So what had happened there is that the shore road allowance in front of lots 18 and 19 were purchased by the owners of lots 18 and 19, and then being in the same name, merged on title. So lots 18 and 19 are within a registered plan of subdivision and remain individual conveyable lots, but in that we can't add lands to those without passing a bylaw. So at the time it was recommended that in the conditions that the applicants request that we do part lot lift bylaw to lift those properties out of a plan of subdivision status until those lands could be added to, and then it would go back into plan of subdivision. So after further discussion with their lawyer and our planners, it's been determined that they would like us to do a deeming bylaw. With the deeming bylaw, it will bring those lands out of a plan of subdivision status. Instead, with our lawyer says that it makes no difference to us whether those lands come out of plan of subdivision status. It's really up to what the applicant wants. So since the conditions specified that we use the part lot control lift, we're recommending that the Committee of Adjustment approve staff to revise condition number 1 of the decision of the Committee of Adjustment for the applicant to request to the township to revise that to say deeming bylaw instead of a part lot lift, to merge the shore road allowances in front of lots 18 and 19 on plan M334, and that condition, then that deeming bylaw then would come back to council to pass at a future council meeting. So I don't know if you have any questions about that.
I don't quite understand that.
I was gonna say, could you clarify maybe by simple terms?
Yeah. Okay,
She just did it.
I just did.
Yeah, you understand it, but I'm having a hard time here.
I had a hard time wrapping my head around. This is new.
Okay, the deeming,
Yeah, so it's a deeming bylaw. Under council has the power to do that under the Planning Act.
do we ever used it before?
We have never used it since, I
Okay,
don't think
no,
we've used it ever before.
Not feel so bad.
So we're learning all this stuff. So we could do part lot lift control bylaw, or we can do a deeming bylaw. And it's a lot of planning jargon.
Okay.
So like I said, the lawyers, and speaking to Tony Fleming from Cunningham Swan, he was here before, he met with you before. I had asked him the difference between the two, and he said it makes essentially no difference to the township how we do this. So
If it's no different, why are we complicating it?
the part lot control lift bylaw was something that he had suggested, and we've been working with a couple lawyers from Bradley Howe's office, or I guess it's just Bradley's office now.
Okay.
So now we've had a switch in lawyers too. So now with the part lot lift bylaw not being something that everybody is used to, like this would be new even to our planners.
Okay,
That I think with the comfort.
Tracy,
yeah.
I have to leave the meeting.
Okay,
Okay,
all
sorry.
right, thanks, Councilor Rodnick.
take care.
So with
On your link.
I think with the comfort, the previous, their lawyer is comfortable with it. Mr. Fleming says it doesn't matter to him, so we said, you know, if it makes no difference to us, then we'll just, but because the committee of adjustment had proved those conditions, the planners had suggested it comes back to the committee to get approval from you that we switch those bylaws.
So
That's
this
being
was
recommended.
approved-
Does-
This was originally approved in September. by
Yes,
the former
yeah, so
council.
what the
Yeah.
condition that was in September was,
Sorry, Tracy.
no, that's okay, I just have it here. Thought I did.
I can't get my head around why they would want to add the two parcels together.
That's we don't want them to be conveyed separately. We want them attached, because if it's not, then they have essentially three properties there. We want them merged.
One tax bill.
It's one tax bill anyway, but what had happened is they thought they were separate. Like they thought they weren't together, and they went with each property, and the way it looks on paper is that when it did it, but when they went to sell one of the lots, when they did a title search, it went, oh, they're one piece. We can't sell that because the shore road allowances is owned by one person. So I'll show you.
The blue and the green
So this here,
was the
this
original.
whole thing
Yes.
was owned by, say, one property. I forget which one it was at the time. We'd have to look.
Yeah.
But so in order to sell this to somebody else, these people still own this.
And we don't allow that, do we?
No.
No,
For
it's
you
gotta
to
be
own the
joint.
Shore Road
Gotta be
license.
joined. These gotta be together. So these would never merge because they're a plan of subdivision. Plan of subdivisions don't merge. But because this was not a plan of subdivision or not created by consent, they can merge on title. We don't know. And that's the argument that I get all the time from people is they kind of blame us for it, but we don't know. There's a disconnect between land registry and us, because even if they have two roll numbers, like I've seen it a couple times since I've been doing this, even if there's two roll numbers, doesn't mean anything. It can still be merged. So now we have to fix it.
It happens quite often, especially when somebody is buying up old farms,
Yeah.
and then they buy the adjoining old farm that were originally owned by two different people, but now they're owned by one person. And I think it's impact puts them together under one title.
It's under the Planning Act. It's just
So then the guy,
Section 50.
and the guy doesn't realize, because he owns both pieces of properties, he's used to paying the taxes, and then he goes to sell one of them and he can't.
And then they come to us.
And then he gets all upset at us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and this is essentially the same thing, except there's shoreline road allowance that was bought in the meantime.
And we have another one coming soon, but same thing.
So what you're asking, or what this is asking.
Well, what I'm asking is, I want the committee to allow us to change a condition instead of a part lot lift by control bylaw to a deeming bylaw. That's it. It does essentially the same thing in our books, but it'll bring those lands out of plan of subdivision, which
And it'll
according to
correct-
our lawyer, that doesn't, it'll correct it. Yeah, it'll clean this file up.
Sure.
And then if they come back to us next month and say, okay, now this is done, now we want to sever it,
They
because we
can't,
actually want to sell that property.
they're already separate. They're already sold. Those two, 18 and 19 are two separate pieces. All we're doing is putting that shore, these are two separate already.
Yeah.
This is putting that shore road with this and that shore road allowance with that.
Well, that's how it should be.
It
Yes.
should be, but it
Yes.
wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And that's what we're trying to
Hey,
fix.
whatever you call it, as long as we're doing the right thing.
Okay, so the consensus is I'm getting is that you're okay if I come to you with a DENI bylaw in about a month. Okay, all right, perfect.
That makes it simple.
In the meantime, I might look up that bylaw, just to, learn.
Okay, I will pass it over to,
Yeah. Right there.
I will pass the meeting over to Counselor Kuyak.
Oh, thank you, Tracy. Does any council have any other planning business they wish to discuss? No, great, then I guess we'll, the meeting is, over, I guess, and the next scheduled one will be for the 15th of March.
It's a tentative right now.
That's
I'm,
budget meeting.
yes,
That's
so the budget
budget.
meeting's after the committee of adjustment, but I don't know if I'm gonna, this application may not make it because we're still waiting for some stuff from the applicant, but
So it's tentative.
it's tentative. But if not, you have a meeting anyway that day because it's budget. I'll just provide more.
Everyone knows it's a budget meeting that day.
Great, thank you, everyone.
Okay, adjourned at
Enjoy your day, Sean, it looks beautiful.
9. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
We need a motion to adjourn.
Sean, do you want to get your word in there?
Absolutely. Let's adjourn the meeting.
Okay,
So that's the door.
Sean and
I'll second.
Thank
Counselor.
you.
9:43.
That's a quick minute.
Before you might not have to remind me.
We need to vote on that. We need to vote on this.
All in favour?
Oh, it's scary.
Gary?
Thanks.
Oh, yeah, see.